confirmed, and there's 100 Thieves next to them, of course, waiting around in the semifinal for whoever might win.
Yeah, the standard 10th game of the day.
Yeah, obviously known and expected. Rise and Swain removed as options. Two teams sitting at 11-8 records overall. One of them going 11-9. They played a 20-game split.
And I mean, they talked about it a little bit on the desk, as far as kind of joking about tired brain and these sorts of things, but you do really have to battle against mental fatigue at this point in the game. Some of these teams have been here for 10+ hours, waiting all day with high amounts of stress, with their entire season on the line as far as performances, as far as playoff matchups. It's incredibly important. When you look at how dominant TSM has shown to be, 9-2 in their last 11 games, including those tiebreakers, you do not want to play them in the quarterfinals. That is a team that is going to be heavily favored against either one of these squads as of now. And a loss in the quarterfinals means you do not go to Miami.
Yeah.
And the win here could be the difference between perhaps making it or not. I mean, TL, a strong team in their own right, but has not looked as impressive as TSM has down the stretch.
Absolutely the case. Despite the fact that it's only for seeding, quote unquote, it's certainly a very important game to play for right here. Rise, Braum, Olaf all banned away on the Cloud9 side. Clutch, one more band to go, and it's Cloud9's turn to first pick. No AD carries removed, and no top laners unless you count Swain removed either, so a lot of options here. Licorice has traditionally outperformed solo. He was an early front runner, as obvious rookie of the split, and probably top 2 for top laners, but has not looked nearly as dominant recently. Several kind of rough performances of late. But we'll see what Cloud9 can do for themselves here. Xayah up the table is the third mid lane ban, and they're going to grab Xayah to go for some bot lane pressure here for Sneaky and Smoothie.
Makes a lot of sense with Rakan not banned away. It's not usually a pick you want to steal to break up the duo, but we have seen the answer be from Apollo and Hakuho, Caitlyn plus Morgana. And that is kind of what I'm expecting them to go to. It is a very strong bot lane duo who can answer it really, really well. One of the biggest things is the Grand Entrance. When Rakan is engaging, you can black shield that and immediately hit him with a binding. You can combo that into a trap. It becomes very risky for the Rakan to engage because you can trade back so heavily onto them. And that is also one of the big comfort picks for Apollo, for Hakuho. I think some of their best champions.
And now I'm very curious what Clutch's thought process is. Caitlyn locked in. Do they grab the Morgana now and wait to counterpick and pivot on the draft? Or do they go for priority here and guarantee the last pick? They're going to go for priority. Okay. Sejuani grabbed up with Skarner and Olaf off the table. Of course, Sven has an easy Zac if he wants it.
Yeah, and Zac makes a lot of sense. A lot of pros do prefer the Sejuani side of the matchup, though, simply because you can knock Zac out of his jump pretty consistently with the charge on Sejuani as he charges up that big slingshot. And you Q forward, you knock him out of that jump and deny some of that engage. So preferential side of the matchup, it will be the Xayah Rakan for C9. And definitely expecting the Morgana here, because if you don't take it now, it will be banned away.
Yep.
So this is going to be the clutch answer, fairly expected,
yeah,
but it is a very strong answer.
Yeah, a bit of a paint by numbers draft here in this one. They had the option of saying you can ban the Morgana, we're going to get priority somewhere else. Maybe Cassiopeia was super highly prized, but obviously not the choice they went for here. Febiven did play Zoe at the beginning of the week, the only player I believe at NA to do so, unless I'm forgetting someone. Yeah. They didn't win the game, though he did look good. I'm curious if that pocket pick comes back out now in the last game of the regular season.
He definitely did look good, but I didn't think the pick looked good in that game, simply because when you're fighting up against a lot of these 3-tank teams, as he was, it becomes incredibly difficult to actually find the picks on those backline targets, and that really is what it is about for Zoe. I mean, if you're hitting a Zac or a Cho'Gath or something like that with your combo, you're not going to get enough out and you don't have the consistent damage. So I'm looking for more of a consistent pick here from Febiven. I think he has been very impressive, even in the TSM game earlier where he had a lot of early pressure put on him. He was able to battle back and have a lot of success on the Orianna. Looked like one of the strong members in that game. But the Orianna and the Shen going to be taken off the table, so he will not be going there. We still do have things like the Cassio. We still do have things, such as the Talia available.
Sure, and I'm curious what exactly the Orianna ban means. Is it a counterpick to what Febiven's going to first pick here in the second phase to leave a top lane counter up, or is it the safe blind they think Jensen's going to go for and they want to counterpick for Febi in the mid lane? It's probably one of those two things. I'm curious what that means, though, for them.
I mean, it's Jensen's most played, really, for a long time, is the Orianna. This has been one of his real comfort picks, and while it is not his most played this split, you know, when you're looking historically, it's always something that is a safe blind pick. It's always something that he loves to play. And it's also a pretty good matchup into the Cassiopeia. So if you're actually looking at something like that for a pick, I think it makes quite a bit of sense.
Well, Gangplank going to be the blind here for solo. Again, I will iterate that Gangplank is a bit of a flex pick. We've seen it mid and competitive, but expect that to go topside for Clutch here. Another
thing to consider with the Orion ban is simply the combo with Rakan and Zach. Very strong engage to set up that shockwave. We could see the Camille as the answer, and it is going to be a Camille locked in here for Licorice into Solo's Gangplank. So definitely a very aggressive, high-octane matchup up there.
That would be spicy if they went for the Ezreal, by the way. Jensen, the hover on Echo from Smoothie. I appreciate you for that one. But I
Galio.
do... Oh, wow. And Galio got some pretty big nerfs recently, so he's actually, I think, incredibly weak for a solo queue, but we have seen him a little bit in pro play. Jensen on a Galio in mid. And I do want to mention the Camille in the top lane because it's a return to form for Licorice. Back to the carry tops he was so good on before. I think this is a draft that looks very good for Cloud9 if they can work the Galio. He got gigantic nerfs to his mana cost and cooldowns on the Q, which make the laning phase so much harder, and he's going to be against Corki in the mid lane for Febiven.
And the Corki was already a good matchup into the Galio, so this certainly can be something that Jensen may struggle with in the 1v1, but this is about enabling his teammates. This is not a selfish pick by any means here for Jensen. This is saying, you know what? If it's going to be a carry versus carry matchup in the top lane, add Galio into that. Galio plus Camille is an incredibly powerful combo at picking off people in the side lanes, not to mention the combination in teamfights with the engage, ulting in on top of a Zach who has jumped into the back lines, ulting in on top of a Rakan or a Camille who is into the back lines. This is definitely very powerful sort of composition in that right. And Clutch is going to have to do something they have done very poorly throughout this split, which is play around and protect Solo. If you do not play around Solo, if you are not defending him, he will get picked on. He will be getting three-man dove, and you will see Licorice take over this game in a side lane.
That is a scary thing that Clutch Gaming must play around, and historically have not. They've been leaving Solo on the island more often than not and hoping he survives through the late game, but it is now down to this one. The fight for the 5th or 6th place seed. A battle with Liquid or a battle with TSM, who are looking incredibly hot. Xayah, Rakan, the duo for Cloud9, such a strong lane. They're up against the standard counter from Clutch's side of the Caitlyn Morgana, but it has been sneaky Smoothie having better laning phases of late. Jensen's Galio, a bit of a surprise here. We'll see how that one does work for him. Ready to go into this final game of the regular season. We will be back next week, of course, with the quarterfinals. Both these teams will feature, and they're playing to figure out which team that they will face as we get ourselves onto the Rift.
TSM going to be awaiting the loser, while Liquid will be awaiting the winner in the quarterfinals. And we already know the semifinalists that are guaranteed to be in Miami are Echo Fox and 100 Thieves, who finished 1st and 2nd, respectively.
100 Thieves over Echo Fox, respectively, means in order.
My mistake.
That's okay. I got your back, buddy. Didn't want to let that one stand. So, Doran's shield for Licorice, going to keep himself reasonably safe in the matchup. Comet, a very standard keystone choice for the lane poke. There are other good keystones for Camille. Aftershock gives you good team fighting power. Klepto can actually be really good for heavy dueling, but wants the W poke more often than not. Domination secondary is a bit less frequent. I think you see Resolve pretty often, so you can deal with poke, but not the case here. A bit more offensive. He's going to have the lethality most likely from everything else.
And I think it makes a lot of sense to play the Comet when you are in a lane like that of the Gangplank, because it's one of the things where if you keep the Gangplank on the back foot, you can win that lane. As soon as you start falling behind, as soon as Gangplank maintains control over that minion wave, you will just be getting parlayed on cooldown over and over and over and over, and it becomes very difficult not only to trade but to farm. So you want to keep them on the back foot. You want to be winning these little trades with the Comet and tactical sweep and looking for that.
So, mid laners on your screen right now. Jensen and Febiven have been two of the very best so far in this split. You actually heard Bjergsen a few moments ago when asked on MVP candidate said, you know, I'd pick someone who is consistent, much like Febiven here, who has been the big performer of Clutch. And the stats on your screen right there, it has been Febiven who's done more. And actually, despite having like very low forward percentage, a great laner, a lot of extra farm on his side.
Yeah, he's been incredibly good this split. And another MVP candidate that was pointed out by Bjergsen in this game is Smoothie. Smoothie has been someone who, you know, was getting a lot of MVP talk, especially in the first half of the split, but, you know, with their kind of fall from grace, has been in less conversations.
True enough, but we'll see what this lane looks like. Clutch, though, with the early push means they'll get level 2 first almost definitely, and you can see they're really starting to threaten Cloud9, hoping that they can maybe deny some of the farm. They're keeping track of the minions and their health bars, and Two melees will be level 2, and we'll see if there's much of a fight to be had. Wave clear coming through, and a very large farm lead for Febiven. Only 8 for the Galio, but 11 waiting here for this Corki.
Yeah, Corki going to be doing pretty well in this lane. It is a tough one for Galio, and with some of those nerfs that have come through, especially, as you said, some of the mana nerfs and things like this, can be pretty difficult because if you can't push the Corki in, then you can't really access the side lanes, which is where you're going to find most of your success. So definitely going to have to be about the wave clear. Jensen wants to be able to be out on the map, wants to be constantly pressuring other areas, and the last thing that he wants is to be stuck in this 1v1 non-stop against the Corki, who will be able to push him, who will be able to scale up and likely have more effectiveness later on.
So Aftershock not quite going to land, as Jensen's actually going for a bit less typical of a keystone in this mid lane matchup. It's a very tanky one to help him frontline. That might mean he goes full tank Galio, but LirA now is right behind him, so things to be threatened of. And Jensen going to sidestep the stun, but they're going to get this damage anyway. LirA's got to flash out, but one more hit will kill. No, it won't! Are you kidding? The first blood goes to Jensen. Are you kidding? And the second kill comes through. That is a heart stopper for Clutch.
Completely botched there by Clutch. Jensen survives with the Aftershock, with the tankiness of his taunt. He's going to get a kill and an assist there. And that is going to be devastating for Clutch. They thought they had the first blood and they threw it away.
I can't believe that, but look at the damage in the bot lane. Yeah, Apollo gets a lot of hits towards Smoothie, survives, and away from the Blade Color as well. The farm very close on the side, but 2 kills spread across the mid and jungle is such a surge in power. We've seen C9 fall back from higher than this, but what a fight there.
I mean, we talked about how important the mid lane is going to be, and here is LirA coming in from behind. Smart early flash from Jensen. LirA not able to connect on his Q, and then proccing the Aftershock there makes Jensen so much tankier. Those early flat resists. Febiven and LirA just going down to the turret. Sven comes in, cleans up another kill. And that is such a big deal because that means the early catalyst on buy here. Febiven basically has nothing, and Apollo may get pulled in. Nothing to leash to.
Not too bad there. Black Shield comes down and Tom gets popped. Now the re-engagement. Sejuani comes around, 2 more hits. That's
Nice
going to be a stun
binding.
available. Yeah, the binding means damage on the
Apollo.
top line. The trap there, the runaway, but the shot comes in ahead. Goes down and rolling. Apollo finally gets one on the board. 400 gold difference now, and 300 gold for the AD carry.
Yeah, and credit there to Apollo and Hakuho. So good with that binding and a trap combo, and you're seeing Apollo perfectly pull that off. He's able to get the auto and into the trap crit auto, into the net, guaranteeing another auto crit, plus the Piltover over Peacemaker coming through, so he really is pulling off those animation cancels and combos very well with that Morgana, and you're seeing why it can be so hard sometimes for the Rakan in this matchup.
Nice bind means a lot, even though Rakan does have 2 dashes and can try to get back to his teammate. Of course, doesn't manage to dodge the skill shots there. Well played. Gold's pretty close. The first Phreak going to come through. Plenty of money in the coffers. It's going to be BF Sword Boots for Apollo, no problem, and a health potion to top it all off. Got the money for it.
And it's also something that really does help to kind of build that confidence back after something goes so wrong in the mid lane. That can hurt team morale quite a lot. So being able to get that kill on the bottom side of the map, have your 2v2 winning, is really going to do wonders for that morale at the end of a long day.
Ooh, nice little attempt there by Jensen. Almost gets some damage across. Mid lane farm, despite the deaths, of course, still in Febiven's favor. As you mentioned in Champ Select, advantageous matchup for Corki, but his first recall is Sapphire Crystal. It's not the most impressive.
Solo is going to face check, unfortunately.
Found out. Going to be slowed down a couple of times. Ulti comes to buy a few more seconds, and there's not enough engaged left, as Licorice apparently didn't want to chase into that.
Licorice not level 6. That was the critical difference there. Had that been level 6 on the Camille, that would have been an almost guaranteed kill, but he was not. And all they end up getting really is that ultimate. So pretty small price to pay there for Solo, all things considered, when he did just kind of face check that Zac and is going to be able to get out to tell the tale.
Mini wave's definitely very important. Chasing it through and taking aggro could be a huge threat right there, and nothing big comes out of it. Hakuho looking for the bind, and Svenskeren looking for the redive as the wave is cleared. It's a little bit easier. They find the W slow. They find the ultimate across as well. No ult to disengage. Unstoppable, pulling him back in. The last bit of damage comes through almost, and he will actually. Kill. The passive, the burn down comes in. Thank you very much. Gangplank finds one back as a payment for the gank.
So well played there by Solo to get that kill back. Really impressive stuff. You know, to get that kill in the 1v2 is so big. He has been what a lot of people point to as the weakness of this team. Someone who gets picked on, someone who his team is not playing around. And for him to be able to not only survive in the initial gank, but to get a kill back in the second gank there was really, really big. And there is that true damage burn coming in. The minions adding a little bit of help there too. Good job. The minions are going to push towards him as well. He doesn't have a TP, so he will lose a little bit there, but he's going to be equal in gold off the kill. He's going to be up in farm off the play and ahead on itemization. So Solo is going to be feeling pretty damn good about that.
Yeah, quite a trial by fire in that lane, and just that gives him a bit of a nice edge there. Of course, kills still went through. Licorice did get the full 300 gold, didn't get, you know, screwed with only an assist. At least nice for that one, but this gold is now tied between these two teams. Anyone's game. And again, a match very much worth winning. Dodging TSM first round seems to be very important. Jensen, however, finds a ward to kill. Says, get that vision out of my jungle. Want none of that around here. Thankfully, wards don't have feelings. Kobe confirmed that earlier in the day. So it's going to be fine. No harm, no foul.
Might need a second opinion on that.
Azael, do wards have feelings?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. That's second opinion.
All right, thanks very much.
So now it's hard to know, you know?
All right, get on Twitter. Hashtag NA LCS. Do wards have feelings, yes or no?
I mean, some of them are pretty cute, right? It's like the Como ward.
Yeah.
Looks pretty sad when he dies.
What about the non-skinned wards?
The non-skinned
Only
wards?
the non-skinned wards.
I don't know. Do we want to just separate them out like that?
I don't know. Either way, though, the topic right now is the battle on the Rift.
It's pay to feel at that point. For
Pay to feel. What? That's VR games right there, right? That's just adding more sense into the games. I'm waiting for Smell-O-Vision to come back like Futurama had.
I don't think I want Smell-O-Vision.
I don't want Smell-O-Vision either. You know what? We're good for this one. Let's see. Solo still doing battle in the top lane. Farm plus 15 against Licorice. You have to put Minuet waiting for the Camille, but still, he's doing comically well in a matchup where he's been getting ganked.
And in the mid lane, right? After kind of that botched dive onto Jensen, Febiven is still fairly ahead here in the farm himself. Yes, there is some minions to pick up, but you know, plus 16 himself right now. We'll see how many Jensen gets to equalize that, but you know, definitely doing well in farm across the board when you look at all the lanes. You know, up 13, 14 right now, depending on the minion waves in the bottom lane, up a decent bit in the mid lane and the top lane, pretty even in farm in the jungle. So things looking good for Clutch in that regard. It has just been the kills that have really gone the way of C9 to kind of keep them even or a little bit ahead in gold.
Absolutely here. Now, Sven looking for those kills.
A repeat.
Wants to go topside. There is no ward in that brush, I believe, so he could have jumped for no problem.
And you got to remember that no flash was blown by Solo when he did die, so knew he was not getting out, so intelligently does hold on to that flash, which makes it a lot harder to repeat gank. And that is something you see a lot of people, even pros, sometimes messing up on. And here's the combo again.
Trap, auto, trap. And now into the mid lane. The nice pull back means the knockup. Into taunt. Good luck. Febiven does flash away. A quick laugh comes out, and Svenskeren going to walk out. That is still a nice gank. They get a flash out of the mid laner.
And Camille is threatening the roam on down, and they have nice vision in the topside river. A couple pinks along the way there for C9, so hard to spot that out. But Febiven does survive. He has his TP to get back to the lane. They could look to repeat and really try to punish that summoner being down, but Hakuho and Apollo lying in wait here, looking to see if they can actually find a pick.
Well, it's an attempt towards the Ocean Drake as Svenskeren piloting Zach hits a few times and goes, you know what? Yeah, let's keep fighting. We're okay for now, but now it's on cooldown, which could signal a potential re-engage, but look at this 4v1. Only a smite stick could do anything.
Yeah. I don't think you should even try at this point. I think he'll just get CC'd up and probably go down. And
yeah,
the fact that Febiven didn't actually elect a base, he canceled his back, he decided to stay around, meant that he did not have the health or mana to really get involved in a fight, just now TPing back. So that is kind of the reward that C9 had gotten for that mid lane pressure. They're able to capitalize on that. Feel pretty good. Things like that can really help to equalize things, such as the mana nerfs that were pointed out on this Galio, going to help you out with that regen there. And even for Licorice against Solo, when you are getting poked out by the parlays, it can help you a little bit there too.
Shout out the W passive shield. Portrait Rockets deal all magic damage, so the recall is not stopped. I do want to point something out I think is very clever. I like Jensen's rune build now, seeing his items come in. He is going AP Galio, but by going Aftershock, he can actually tank through a team fight. The resists are flat, and the actual damage is like a big AP ratio and stuff on it as well. So it allows him to still play as a frontline tank because of Keystone augmenting his item build being fully offensive. I think it's awesome to see, and I really like that from Jensen.
Yeah, and I think it is very intelligent, and you know, we'll kind of measure that a little bit by saying it allows you to be maybe a pseudo frontline tank or a tank for the first couple seconds of a fight, and then you do get pretty squishy. But TP coming in here from behind from Licorice, they have the Camille ultimate.
Ooh, and They put the black shield towards Apollo. Now a flash out from Morgana, but he's trapped inside the Hextech ultimatum. The stun's coming in, flash to get away, but Sneaky's still going to find the auto attack, and the kill comes into the bot lane. A nice TP out of Licorice. The ulti from Gangplank not going to zone them away enough, but it does mean turrets can fall. Clutch get first turret mid lane, and plenty of damage top if they want it, but it will be a recall out of Solo.
Yeah, and that's going to be solo gold there for Febiven, which is going to feel really nice. Apollo might have wanted to just hold on the Summoners, as he looked like he was pretty much dead to rights there. Nice TP. It's going to be the TP coming in from Solo. He's going to come down here on the bot side.
Yeah, they're bringing in Gangplank. The Zac pull doesn't mean very much, and it's like with GP there, they're going to be able to clear the wave, so turret will not fall.
Yeah, defending the turret there pretty big. They could even send Apollo up to the top side of the map, and that looks like it will be the choice. Leave GP down here in a potential 1v2 situation, but he can wave clear very, very well there. And they're going to hold on to their turret, so definitely positive on the play, despite the fact that it was pretty costly as far as Summoners and the death. Here's the initial engage. Hakuho nails a nice binding, but it's really the TP coming in from Camille that seals the deal here onto Apollo. Intelligently using that ultimate there onto Apollo. He's going to get locked down. No real chance for him to get out from that point, and it will go down.
And now, because of the TP to the bot lane, there was a bit of time for Licorice to push in the top side and gets that turret down to about 40%, but the team is back in action, but to keep going. Berserker's Breeze means a lot of attack speed for this Caitlyn. BF Sword is going to be pushing further forward as well.
And there's no one in position to actually answer the Caitlyn just yet. We'll see what C9's answer is going to be. For now, it looks like they just want to try to answer by pushing down the bottom lane turret and not looking to actually match the Caitlyn up on the top side. So they will be able to get this. We'll see how much more they can take because Apollo will be doing work, knocking this down, and Gangplank will be trying his best to actually clear out these waves and delay the push.
Pretty much an equal trade of buildings right now. Bot lane outer fell and top lane outer very likely to drop on top of that one. Solo will get a bit of farm. And right now no one is holding top lane against Apollo's Caitlyn. That turret's not dead yet, but it will fall eventually as no one is stopping. Now for the big play in the top side of the map. A big chunk comes through, and now Galio in as well for the knockup. The rest of the team coming in as well. Goodbye to Solo. 1 versus 4, loses his life. That is a nice play out of Cloud9.
Yeah, well done by Cloud9. 4-man dive there, but Febiven is pushing up mid lane. Clutch already took down 1 turret on the top side, and they're going for the Rift Herald, so they are trying to trade objectives fairly evenly here. 2 turrets already the way of C9 and the kill, so let's see how much more Clutch can really take back.
Well, they've got a 3v1 against Licorice right now, but not a lot of great dive tools. LirA going to be able to solo Shelly, so that is a nice pickup there. That might mean some more pressure, and they can run it down to the top lane really, really fast. Maybe they can push that down with only Camille defending, but not so fast in the play right now.
Yeah, probably not for now, but you can look to reset. You can look to try to utilize that to even out the trade in the long run. C9 certainly positive on the play for now. Up a kill, up a turret. We'll see if that Rift Herald really can pay off, and some of the additional farm that they were able to net can pay off as well. As you can see, that is kind of panning out in the mid lane. Every time Jensen is going to look for a roam, even if it is successful, Febiven is taking the farm, is getting some guaranteed gold in his pockets, but things looking pretty even overall.
You've got farm leads for literally every player on the team, aside from the jungles being tied. Clutch Gaming are getting more minions overall in this game. Gold individually, or team-wide, up 300 for the red team, so that's also going nicely. But that Ocean Break for Cloud9 is going to mean a little bit during the mid-game. They can recuperate from fights a bit better. A nice find going to be found. Ulti coming as well. Looking for the chase in, of course. A nice jump from Smoothie, but Gangplank wants to say a little bit more about this. A nice ult out of Sneaky, dodges the Glacial Prison. We're waiting for the Blade Colors. Black Shield times out. They stop down Corki, and nothing else to be found.
Yeah, interesting to see that LirA actually held that instead of perhaps going for Smoothie. I guess because he was worried about the cleanse, didn't want to maybe use that into it, but Sneaky does have his Blade Caller ultimate. Either way, they force the Summoners out of Sneaky, they push the bot lane back to base, and they will drop the Rift Herald and likely cash in on that second turret right now. Meanwhile, C9 are going to try to answer elsewhere on the map again. It's been kind of this run-and-gun style from Cloud9 as they try to push away from where this Clutch Gaming duo is.
And consistently, Solo has to do his very best in a 1v2, 1v3, 1vx. He's holding the mid lane, but of course, look at that as Licorice shoves in the bot lane. Solo moves over, and now Sub's been teleporting to catch the waves back in. So they have done a good job so far of catching most of the farm and playing the map well enough.
And to his credit, Solo has gotten no help at all really this game, it feels like, and has been targeted quite a lot. And he's actually up on farm. He's actually up on gold. So he is holding his own and more in this 1v1 and some of these 1v2, 1v3 type situations. The Gangplank is one of those champions that it's a little bit more okay to get punished sometimes like this, as long as you're not giving up too much, because you scale so well that as long as you are always getting farmed, there's always a chance to catch back up and be super effective in team fights.
And he's one of the few top laners with really good ranged wave clear. A barrel crit kills an entire minion wave or close enough that it's going to drop. The ultimate as well, when it seems like Clutch Gaming as a team play 4-1 as a map. Solo lives up to his name and then globals into the other 4 as they make big plays. And it's been a style that's gotten them into the top 6, and they're looking poised reasonably well to get a 5th place seed coming into the playoffs here.
Yeah, I mean, this game is definitely anyone's game, but not as much as an advantage as you would expect for C9 on the top side so far, based on the pressure they put there, based on the matchups they picked and these sorts of things. But definitely, it's always going to be hard to really get out on the map and heavily split push. Even if you can win your 1v1 as solo, you can't really extend that advantage much against a team like this, because Zach could always be jumping in out of vision, Galio could always be coming into ult. Those are things that are always going to be in the back of your head. So you don't really get to often go much more than just kind of even and doing well. You have to wait for team fights, be very patient. It's not necessarily the most fun style to play, but it can be very effective.
Absolutely can be, and sometimes you got to take one for the team and find the way to play around it.
And sometimes when you're solo, you have to take one for the team every game.
Yep.
They never play around it.
That is accurate. Sometimes that's your entire season. And I really do have to credit, though. Solo is a player that I thought was going to be a liability, and honestly has looked better than my expectations, and sometimes just looked really good, period. And I'm impressed with him as a player this split. I did expect more out of Clutch overall as a team. They did still make playoffs, but I did think they were going to be higher than this. Of course, same for Cloud9, honestly. Memes about losing the offseason aside, fighting for 6th place is not where they thought they'd be after the first few weeks.
No, definitely not. I mean, they thought they'd be first. And
yeah.
Instead, they are in danger of not making it to Miami, but they are looking to avoid perhaps a tougher quarterfinal matchup there against TSM, and grouping around mid lane, 5-man mid, trying to threaten down this turret. But there's a lot of wave clear really here from Clutch. Not only the Caitlyn, but Morgana, even as a support, can offer some assistance there. Corki has pretty solid wave clear. The Gangplank, you've already mentioned, has strong wave clear. So this is a very heavy wave clear style from Clutch, which I think is pretty nice for them. And we'll secure the red buff for Apollo.
Yeah, that was good comboing as well. The red buff has negative armor, so if you can guarantee big chunks come through, you do your nearly smite levels of damage. And the E auto Q, 308 damage for the last chunk was no problem. Solo in a 1v1 against Licorice, but with a big barrel chain. Puts him at half HP before the fight even starts, Ninja Tabi or not. And out goes Licorice.
Licorice always gonna have to be careful anytime, Hakuho or LirA are missing there as well. And they are spotting him out. Oh,
almost led the target. LirA nearly got that stun. The bind not quite gonna land either, and Licorice just gonna walk away.
Pressure could mean the bottom turret though, because that turret is almost one hit away. I think Solo could actually just walk up without minions and probably bonk it. It's slow enough, but may just wait for the minion wave to be super safe. You don't want to get caught with your pants down and be killed doing that. Well, he will step forward and do that now, getting the solo gold for himself. They are +1 in turrets. They are up a little bit in gold, and it's all going to be down, I think, to the mid-game team fights and to how these teams play around Baron, because it feels like they're both kind of powering up and building towards that. And the vision is starting to be focused pretty heavily in this area. Both teams are going to have to fight for it.
Ooh, they're going to find that fight right here. LirA pops the aftershock, but able to walk out, and a TP started, then canceled as Licorice was attempting to maybe join in, but 2v4, not a fight Clutch Gaming wants. Out they go.
Yeah, it looked like C9 thought they were going to get a lot more of a fight there, perhaps expecting a full-on engage. So Licorice early channels that TP, but that means that they are down a global now. So it actually could be them looking to force a fight in a 5v4 scenario. And Solo was kind of bush camping, waiting for Licorice to walk up through the river, and they try to get onto him.
Yeah, well, out he goes. Looks like he put a control ward down and immediately turned away and did not get caught out. But with the Cloud9 power play topside, they're getting a lot of damage to this turret. This is potentially going to fall.
Looking
that
nice
is a nice stop by LirA. 2 more autos to be in the stun, but they can't find it.
LirA almost has his ultimate.
Valve forward for Febiven, not going to find the damage just yet. Sneaky front lining, he knows he has ult to dodge. Cloud able to walk away, burning a couple of ults for their trouble, though, as Solo popped the barrage to keep the turret alive.
Pretty good trade, though. Anytime you're getting a flash out for the ultimates, you're going to feel pretty good about that. It is just the 1 GP ult down, and they do hold on to the turret. And it's Solo back to the bottom side of the map. He needs to push this up. They do see Licorice, though Licorice does not know it. He is on a ward, and as Solo can shove this in, get someone to respond to him on the bottom side of the map, that can mean they can look to make their own play. He can TP back towards the Baron. They can try to force something. They can try to find an on-man fight.
This might be the attempt. There's not a lot of great flank boards, but he might find the team fight all the same. He's going to be right up to bot lane tier 2, and no one's here to defend. It's a recall now for Licorice. So Clutch is buying time, letting Solo do the split pushing. The 1-4, this turret is dropping rapidly. Should be able to kill it before anyone answers. And he's now a little gun shy, does not know when Camille's going to reach him, and plays the safer version. I can't blame him for that one. You don't want to give up that kill and give away Baron pressure, because that was almost certainly what they're going to look at.
Especially because Galio was kind of cheating towards the bottom side of the map. So if you do get caught by that Camille ultimate, even if you're not worried about the 1v1, you have to worry about the 1v2. So he will back off and is going to be able to be okay because of that. But as Licorice shows on the bottom side of the map again, Clutch do have priority. They can look to at least get vision around Baron or try to get something done. Xayah has gone back to base. So you see Hakuho over by the Baron, clearing things out, and this is kind of their time to go out on the map and try to establish themselves before the Infernal comes up, before Baron comes on the table.
15 seconds on Infernal ulti, gonna find a slow on Sneaky. He ults and almost gets bound on the way down, dodging away though. Black Shield keeps him safe, and not a lot of backline found. Galio now gonna pull in one. It's Febiven, I do believe, with the damage output very high. Hakuho pops the stopwatch, tries to run in. Licorice flashes, gets one kill, now trapped up Apollo. Finds his second, a 2 for 0. LirA forced to run away. Svenskeren safe enough as well. Now this is a great fight for Cloud9. They find the 2 for 0 and they get out cleanly. Yeah,
Licorice finding a lot there. Siki has no ulti though, has to flash out, and Jensen is really low on the side to Febiven there too. Getting very close as these two soul laners for Clutch are fighting back on the tail end of this battle.
But a 2 for 0 it is at the very end of the day. Jensen almost bites up more than he could chew, but flashes right back out, and that means Infernal should be pretty much free.
Yeah, and Siki grabbed the honey fruit there, so he's going to heal right back up. Plus, he has that fleet footwork, so will be the Infernal for Cloud9. They come out heavily on top, and Licorice finally cashing in on this pick, making a really nice play. And Siki, they're going to try to run him down, but Sejuani is there to support.
Yeah. Solo sadly could not quite chain the third barrel in time, so no big slow to start the fight on Sneaky. That could have been nice. We watched that fight again. Sadly, a miss for LirA.
He does get the miss, but at least able to force out the Blade Caller. And then it is the big engage here from Smoothie coming in. The Galio ultimate lands. Hakuho actually able to survive a very long time with the Hourglass, but the effectiveness here of Licorice as he enters the fight. Flash takes down one, and then look at the burst in that third part of the queue from Licorice taking down Apollo, just bursting him out. Febiven and Solo do a pretty good job, honestly, of fighting back and getting them fairly low, but not able to finish anyone off. And means the play is going to go pretty heavily in C9's favor. A couple kills in the Infernal.
Now the reset package is on for Febiven. He might find himself to play. Looks like this is maybe the rush that Clutch Gaming goes for. Red buff onto Apollo plus package on. Maybe they get what they need.
Also have to keep in mind, Licorice is now the one with TP advantage because he canceled the TP. Solo did expend his in the last fight. Licorice has his teleport now. He can go to the bottom side of the map, force Solo to come and respond, and then Cloud9 can be the ones, especially from this lead that they have kind of established on the map where they have the vision, they have the tempo advantage. They can be the ones to force the Baron and try to get a fight.
And they might be looking around Baron for that one. Blue Trinket forced out. They've got the vision control. The Caitlyn traps not really hurting them that badly anyway. Those wards are all useless down there. The river is there. Sneaky can wave clear. And as you mentioned, TP advantage when Licorice shoots the split.
Yeah, so Licorice can go right back down, but as soon as he shows himself, Clutch could look to engage, and if you do force that engage, then you can try to even out the TP disparity, but for now, Licorice shows. Clutch does not see any sort of engage, so Solo has to go answer, and again, now it is C9's turn to really posture on the map. Licorice can threaten the collapse, and Clutch have to play very safely while still tracking what they're doing around the Baron, because you cannot allow them full access to the Baron. At this stage in the game, it can be rushed down pretty quickly.
So the wave grid is best Solo can right now, but Licorice, of course, able to keep manicuring the wave. That TP advantage meaning a lot. Cannon Barrage is available for Solo, so he can join at least a little bit. And this is the Baron start. The vision is all gone.
Yeah, they know that both of the blue orbs were actually used, so there's no cooldowns to check the Baron. They see Smoothie, they see Jensen, they're showing intentionally, and now Clutch is getting perhaps a little bit wise about this, but I don't know if they're going to check it in time. It looks like they will.
Yeah,
C9 may have to back off. Zach is pretty low on health.
Yeah, with Sven this low, they can't fight. Sneaky gets chunked out by Baron as well. This is actually now the chance for Clutch to take a fight, but I don't know if they know quite how injured the backline is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they actually spotted Sneaky on the way out. Sneaky is going to recall here. They do have waves pushing in both top and bot now for Clutch. Things looking good there. They could start this Baron up and try to, at the very least, force out the teleport from Licorice, and I think that is going to be the call here. They're sussing out that they went back to base. No,
they get
a little bit of hesitation.
Vision.
Yeah, they kind of just back off.
All right, only getting rid of the vision now. No panics really seen there on the Cloud9 side. We reset once again. This gold 600 apart. That 7-2 kill scoreline lies to you a little bit there. Clutch have farmed very well this game, and they are up that one turret. And Licorice is on a very split push focus build. Ravenous Hydra is done to make that 1v1 a bit easier, sustained between the waves. Infinity Edge coming online soon enough for Solo as he keeps building forward.
Things looking pretty good in that regard, but it's definitely been Cloud9 that feels like they have been dictating the pace of the game a lot more. They have been the ones going for more of the plays and being able to pull more of those off. And yes, that is partially due to the comp, but at the same time, there's some really good scaling on Clutch. When you look at Corki, already has the IE, has the Triforce. When he completes his Rapid Fire or Shiv, whatever he's going to go for, that is a really big spike for Corki. I think 3 items plus, Corki becomes pretty insane in team fights as far as damage output from a mid laner. We see that Apollo is nearly at his 3-item spike, just needs the actual item completion of this Rapid Fire, and those are some scary items to have coming in alongside that IE that you had already pointed out from Solo. That's going to make them a lot stronger, and Cloud9 are going to have to pick their moments. They have Licorice here on the side, could threaten a dive, but he's going to go right back to mid lane. And Clutch have kind of weathered the storm as far as the TP disadvantage. Solo has his back, so things are back to parity on the map.
A solid mid game out of Clutch. Yeah, they, as you mentioned, got through the TP disadvantage. That power play is gone, and once again, it's all equal, and I believe every single summoner spell is up for both sides of the map, every single ultimate as well. So all resources here. As you've been mentioning, the gold identical practically. Redemption available now on the side of Hakuho. The Zeke's Harbinger up for Smoothie means plenty of damage.
And LirA did actually go for the Warmogs, and just now is activating as he goes back to the Kindle Gem. So, this whole time it had not been active because of those nerfs. It did require more health on this patch to be able to actually get that, and Cinderhawk offers less health in and of itself. So, and a change that had some impact, but I guess nothing has really been forced out too much. Jensen's going to be roaming down. They're going to actually look for the play. Here comes the ultimate.
This duel for Licorice looks pretty good. Solo trying to get his damage, but it's not going to be enough. A flash away. Licorice going to be sniped at and has no escape tools left. So 1-for-1. A trade of a lot of abilities. Both top laners dead.
Honestly,
the ult.
Really good job by Solo again. He doesn't even expend his flash. Licorice is down the flash. Licorice ends up dying anyway. And Solo has just been so stalwart in the top lane for Clutch this game. A lot of credit, and it seems funny to say, to be talking about how impactful he is when he's 1-3-1, but I mean, he has been getting very little help and holding on in what can be a very difficult game state against a Camille plus that Galio. The fact that they get the kill means Clutch are the one who have positions around this Infernal, and that is a big, big objective.
No ult for Galio, certainly an important moment to consider, even if the top laners are respawning soon. This Inferno going to mean that the Drake count will be identical between the teams as well. No one to stop this.
C9 does have full vision control over the Baron, though, and they are heading in that direction. 3 pink wards still over there, and they have really been the ones who have kept most of the vision in the area. They're going to straight up start it up. I think Clutch may know because they had a ward by their blue pit, which just expired, and they're fully committing to this.
TP's coming in. Febiven has his teleport as well, and now they can kind of sense things are going a bit weird.
Clutch doesn't know.
I mean, LirA is kind of getting fought, but it just isn't going to happen in time. The Baron going over to Cloud9. Well played on the respawn from them, using the time that was spent by Clutch around that Drake to make a big play. Gold lead for them. Baron buff on, I believe, all 5. Yep, Licorice is wearing it.
Yeah.
That is huge. Mid lane might get traded, but I would still take Baron.
Yeah, certainly so. The Baron definitely a lot more valuable, especially with how much more powerful it is. In the recent patches, getting that buff, more AP. Therefore, Jensen going to be pretty nice as well. But I thought that Clutch's ward, which is kind of a smart ward, leading up in the path towards a blue buff, I thought that may have actually spotted Sneaky and them walking over. It appears it did not. And they were able to just sneak out this Baron. Clutch was caught pretty unaware. They do have very good wave clear still, as we've talked about earlier. Both their AD carries are on those 3-item power spikes, but oh, nice catch on a Licorice.
They're going to knock him down. Galio or not, the damage is going to be there. Looking for the backline, not going to find it. And Jensen, when Aftershock wears off, is going to be squishy. But Zach finds the front. A flash away keeps LirA safe, but it is still a 5v4. Solo takes a big chunk thanks to a 600 AP Galio Q. Redemption respawns the health, and Clutch could look for more.
Yeah, with double AD carries on the map here, they can heal back up and continue to press. They can actually be the ones with the inside track on mid lane here running down mid.
That could be inhib.
Yeah, this could theoretically be the inhib. We'll see if C9 is going to allow them to get that. Solo went up to the top side, so it doesn't feel like they're fully committing to it, but still a very big pick. That is going to take a lot of the punch out of the Baron power play there from Cloud9. Getting that pick, preempting the flank from Licorice, means not only is the Galio ultimate down, the top laner is dead, and that is a really big deal, especially because he has no TP. This is giving so much time for Clutch to restabilize. And here he is again walking past, spotted by the ward, and that is what triggers them to go for it. Nice binding from Hakuho, anticipating where he's going to be. The AD carries pile in, they burst him down, and then Galio comes in trying to save him, but they have to go on full retreat.
Re-engage sort of in this mid lane as Cloud9 wants to still make use of this Baron buff right here. They are still up 2,500 gold. That Baron was good to them on that regard. Licorice still splitting the side, of course. These are not empowered minions, as he is the one casualty so far with that.
And Sneaky has a lot of critical item spikes that have come in for him too. 3 items on Licorice. Sneaky has his 3. He's building towards Double Zeal, but Jensen having to flash out of there. That's a Seraph's down too, so that's no flash, no Seraphs. That's a lot of the survivability there that is going to be kind of spent for Jensen. Svenskeren on the side, threatening a potential dive. But we'll have to be backing out, and not too much more time down on the Baron. About a quarter of that Baron buff is remaining.
So it might not be too much picked up. 5-5 in overall turrets, though. Looking at round number 3 as Sven reaches the back line, gets some damage into Hakuho, pulls him forward. Here comes Galio. This could be massive. They found Corki. They found a second. What a fight from Cloud9. 3. Make it a 4 as Apollo crashes down. And Solo, the last one alive. Cloud9 at the end of the Baron buff. It will be a trade, but Solo alone versus 4 to save the game. Cloud9 ready to keep pushing for more turrets.
Yeah, the Baron is still there, and just what an incredible engage by Svenskeren and Jensen. And it's looking like they could just close this out. There's 1 minion remaining, but I think Solo's gonna get picked off.
Minions are gone. Orange is pop. He's gonna die, but now there's a bit of time as the minion wave is coming back in. But there it is, and Cloud9 make the play at the end of the split to finally end the losing streak. They will secure that 5th seed. Cloud9 versus Liquid and Clutch versus TSM will be our first quarterfinal matchups.
And what a crazy end there. Such a decisive engage from Cloud9. They pull the trigger. Svenskeren finds the engage with the Galio follow-up, and that was a game that looked so dead even. It looked like it could have been going much, much longer. But just like that, the incredibly decisive engage finds a dominant team fight win, and they close the game in the dying breaths of that Baron buff. There was barely any time left to make that play.
It timed out, I think, by the time they took the Nexus itself, but what a fight. It was so close the entire time, and then suddenly a 5-0 at the end of it all. That was absolutely huge out of Cloud9. A team effort, though. 3 big carries. The Camille, the Galio, and the Xayah all pitched in a lot. Solo did his best, of course, surviving on his own. He got plenty of damage out, but that team fight was huge. What an engage out of Svenskeren. That man on your screen right there started it all and just locked up everyone.
Yeah, and it was really just a beautiful execution in that final team fight, and it didn't seem like Clutch was fully prepared for it, fully expecting it. I think having pushed them back a couple times, they perhaps thought that that was the end of the aggression coming out from Cloud9 with that push. But instead, Cloud9 just goes straight for the throat with super powerful engage. You have the Camille, the Zac, the Galio, the Rakan all flying in, and they're able to pull it off.
Well, now it's time to throw it down to an interview with Avali and the marathon support for Cloud9.
Thanks, guys. Smoothie, congratulations on that victory. You know, when you came out here today, this morning, people were chanting MVP as you entered the stage. Do you think you deserve MVP, and what do you think your chances are for that?
Well, it's a controversy, obviously. I think I played really well in the beginning, but right now, as a team, we're struggling like in a lot of factors, or a lot of ways, and we're currently fixing that. Obviously, we've lost a lot of games, like 1 in 3 today, in a best-of-1 thing, so it hasn't been going too good, but it'll get better.
Well, speaking to that, you guys had a great start in the split, but when it hit the second half of the split, it got a little bit rocky for Cloud9. What kind of issues do you think the team is struggling with, and how are you going to address those coming into playoffs?
I think one of the biggest things for us is adapting to the meta. For example, I'm not going to say too much about it, but some champions today we didn't actually get to play like a lot of champions played today in scrims, and that kind of skewed our perception of how what champions are good and just how to play the game. And our scrim results are actually really good this weekend. So yeah, I mean, it happened last year too during like I think our Dig series before or at playoffs, and we just lost because we didn't know the meta, and it's kind of happening right now. But I think by the time playoffs actually comes, we will be more prepared than right now at the very least.
Hoping you're prepared for that. And with today specifically, it's been a long day for all the teams who participated. How do you guys keep your focus or maybe your mindset steady through long days like this?
Yeah, it's really late. We came into this game with a lot lower energy, and our game plan changed throughout the day because all these new picks were showing up and we had to prepare for everything. But I think at the end of the day, you know, we just gotta do what we gotta do, and you know, low energy games. I think both sides are gonna have low energy in this game. So yeah, the games are okay, but it could have been better for sure.
Got to do what you got to do, and you did it. Congratulations again on your victory, Smoothie. And to wrap up the day, let's hear from the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. And an interesting thing Smoothie said there was that, you know, both sides are low energy, right? You do have to remind yourselves that in a competitive environment, the opposing team is operating under the same circumstances that you are. Sure. And so to his point, yes, tired brains across the board, but it is about who can combat that and who can fight through those moments of fatigue and ultimately prevail.
And as much as we were saying, you know, it is a different situation than a best of 5, the same skills are in play here, where being able to maintain your composure is something TSM has always been known for. They won their game. C9, much the same way, a team with a ton of experience competing on the world stage. No surprise that they're able to keep it together a little bit better here in the last game of the day.
Yeah, and just kind of an aside, congrats to all the teams that played through today, right?
Oh,
this is a 10-hour broadcast. Thanks to the fans that did stick around. My mom was visiting LCS today. She stayed the whole 10 games.
Thank you, Jat's mom.
Congratulations.
Great,
like,
that's
lady.
Honestly,
everyone
guys,
who stayed is a trooper.
The energy that you provide to us and to the players is incalculable. So thank you so much. With all of that, C9 does win this final tiebreaker, move into that 5th place position, so they'll be playing against Team Liquid in the 4-5 matchup, whereas CG will go up against TSM. But I want to talk about this Cloud9 squad who was able to scrape together one win on the back end of a double-loss day.
And it started out pretty well for them with a flubbed gank coming in by Clutch Gaming here. Just the missed Q by LirA was the little bit of damage that they were missing. If he connected on that Q, this is an easy kill. As it did not happen, Febi goes for one more auto, doesn't get it anyways. Then
even if he gets the auto, Sven would pick up the double, but at least they wouldn't have turned it over. But then the thing is, C9 did, or rather, Clutch Gaming did bounce back towards the end of that one. But when we were kind of talking, Mark and I, throughout that game, even though it looked like Clutch had amazing scaling, right? Because they had the Corki and the Gangplank and the Caitlyn and all this damage, they didn't really have a front line.
They had LirA.
And C9 had so much engage and so much burst damage. We were just kind of waiting for that giant explosive fight where Galio actually initiated and Smoothie actually initiated. Oh, and we got it.
We got it. Yeah, we got it. It was the fight that ended the game here in the mid lane.
Oh, boy. And there you see just so much different ways of engaging. You have the Rakan start things off. Galio is coming in over the top.
Both carries dead.
Zach pulls someone out of the Galio, actually, and Camille goes in. Like, you have so many tools. It took them a long time to find this fight. Clutch were doing a great job laning. They had CS leads despite kind of getting killed over and over again, so they kept the game close. You know, credit to them, but it did feel like another game where Clutch Gaming just kind of sits back, lets things happen to them, and tries to outscale.
See how close it was for so long until C9 finally gets an edge.
And Solo played his heart out this game. He got very little help. He got 1 kill in a lot of 2v1 situations where he was outnumbered. Even at the end, it was kind of fitting that he still killed Licorice.
Oh, that was beautiful. Under the turret. That was beautiful.
But
I mean, yeah, keeping up in CS, unfortunately, doesn't get the win to back it up. You know, but for C9, moving ahead in that 5th place position, barely scraping through. For Clutch Gaming, they'll get that rematch against TSM, and Team Liquid, of course, always in 4th. Just to be a quick reminder as it all happened today. After a 15-game weekend, there were a handful of players given every ounce of themselves to pick up the wins before the postseason, and this pack, rather, were worthy of the OP5. They are Someday, Meteos, Bjergsen, Sven, and Aframu, so all of them from 2 teams. First up, 100 Thieves Someday.
Yeah, lots of praise has to go to 100 Thieves for their week of beating Clutch, who was 3rd coming into the week, and then also beating Echo Fox twice, who was 1st pretty much the whole split to get the #1 seed. And Someday had a lot of tough matchups against Huni, was able to really step it up. Meteos as well, you can see in the jungle there, like just dominant on so many of his picks. We're going to start with somebody 15 KDA in this week.
Yeah, huge games from him because we're talking about how early in the split it felt like there was some synergy where it's like, okay, Cody's a really good AD carry, seems like always getting a lot of damage in, and then Afro, Meteos had that synergy, but finding it with the rest of the team, playing more around Someday recently is bringing a new dimension to the whole lineup.
Looking very scary heading into playoffs. Let's talk about the jungler though. Meteos making his return, ending his first split back on the NA LCS stage with a first place.
And silencing a lot of people who were doubtful about his return over the course of this split has pretty much solidified himself as the #1 or #2 jungler, I think, after this weekend, where he was already up there. Just showed that he is 100% on point, ready to go into playoffs.
You ready to leave, Jet? Where are you going?
I don't know. I was like, I was stretching my wrist.
Quick wrist stretch?
Yeah, and then they shot back to me.
Fair. Next up, TSM's Bjergsen and Sven. Put the two names together.
Yeah, so obviously 100 Thieves and TSM, two teams that won out entirely this weekend, that they have a lot of players on the OP5. Bjergsen in particular coming up huge in the game. Some monster Rise performances, Ori, just playing a whole slew of champions.
Yeah, and the fact that you can now kind of start putting his name in the conversation for MVP with the surge that TSM made is ridiculous.
It's absurd.
I need to double check the stats to see how absurd it would be. I think the MVP races are about like Huni and Aframu and those guys that even Bjergsen was talking about beforehand, but he had an amazing week. He had an amazing end of the split.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I'm not going to hold you guys to this. Is there somewhere you're leaning for MVP? Is there a gut? If I said, like, hey, 3 seconds, who's your MVP of the split right now? Go.
Aframu.
Aframu.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of your guys' front runner. Of course, we still have time
That's
to look at
after
statistics.
watching them surge to first. Like, I'm going to have to dive into the numbers after.
Oh,
that.
absolutely. We'll retro it.
I'd have to go back and check how much of the early game victories do I still attribute to him, because in my memory, I'm like, they were really long games that were really slow, and they grinded people out, which is kind of where I thought Afro was the big factor, but I want to go back and double check that.
Fair enough, fair enough. Moving right along, Sven.
Oh, 20 KDA. And this is the thing. I know that Aframu has been trying to get Cody's son OP5 AD carry, and I'm sorry to Cody's son that he has not had it yet, because every week I feel like there is this performance, and it's actually been Sven twice. And this week, he just completely popped off. Like, when he's flashing forward to pick off Cho'Gath in that Varus game, when it didn't look like the team would have that much damage, he did so much. His Ezreal games have been so damn clean.
Cody has the most runner-up OP5s.
Like,
probably.
He's got like 9.
Probably.
Like, every week he's been the runner-up OP5.
Every time we're like, well, who is it between these two guys?
All right, buddy. Win the split, and you're good to go.
Yeah,
You know,
who
I mean,
cares?
what do you
Who cares
care
what we
if you win
think?
the split, right? All right, last
OP5
up.
actually means nothing. Like,
It really,
it's our reward we give out at the end of the week.
Hey, but if you care about it, that's great.
Yeah, we appreciate that you care.
100 Thieves, Aframu, the guy, you know, who's done it all, leading the charge for 100 Thieves, gotten them up to this first place position, but very humble in his own right. Said that, hey, it's a team game, and he attributes just as much of his success to the other 4 members of that squad.
Exactly, and he's such a leader by example, it feels like. He hasn't trash-talked out in the public, but he did lead this team to the best regular season split, and he does more on support than anyone else.
All right, and just before we move on, I was instructed to inform you, Jet, that production very much feels that the OP5 is legitimate and important.
It's very important. Except
check yourself!
As far as it giving you wins or MVP consideration, those things don't matter. It's important in the fact that it is the OP5.
Yeah. And you should care what we think.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's been good. I think we have done a great job. We put a lot of time into
You know who's done a better job?
Right.
Production's done a better job than us. They're the best.
Great job, production.
Apparently. All right, now after the most taxing day of predictions yet, let's pull up the standings from today's games. You can see that TSM went undefeated after 3 best-of-1s. 100 Thieves went 2-0 to earn first place.
They played the most games. That's
while
cheating.
Team Liquid acquired 4th at 2-1 after today's games. Now, though.
Wait.
Okay, that makes sense. That's right. That's
It's
right.
just funny, no, that they're 4th in this as well.
Fox is dead last.
Right, exactly.
Sorry,
in this situation as well. But let's turn to how your predictions stacked up across the day. Vedius calling the clutch gaming victory at the end of the day, unfortunately.
5 for 5 on prediction day.
Stayed awake for nothing, dude.
On tiebreaker day, rather.
Although,
is there
I
another
was
video coming of him
instructed to
crying?
inform you, Jet, that Vedius is holding on to his optic pick from the previous day in terms of his overall record, which would move you guys back into a tie.
How is this European numbers? Can we bring those up then? If we're going to include one from another day?
First off, the prediction from yesterday with Optic when Deficia was using him as a prop doesn't count. And then secondly, dude, European LCS didn't even predict the whole season.
Yeah, wait, hold on.
He predicted 55% of the games. That's it.
They skipped the beginning of the season. That's so weak to skip the most volatile time.
Thank you, though, for contributing to the broadcast.
This just, very much so. You're a rock star, dude. Thank you for staying up. I hope you have sweet dreams tonight. And maybe we'll bring you, but you suck at predictions. Maybe we'll bring you back in summer so you can have your revenge. But after 95 games, we have our playoff bracket in the race for the finals in Miami. Because of today's results, Team Liquid faces Cloud9 next week on day 1 of the playoffs, with TSM hoping to book a trip to the Fillmore in a rematch with Clutch Gaming on Sunday. Normally, NA LCS tonight would close out the weekend, but with all the extra games, we're going to let the studio go dark until playoffs. So for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for celebrating all these tiebreakers with us. And we'll see you next week for the quarterfinals. Get some rest. Good night.
Yes, please. Thank you. Woo!
Oh, this conspiracy.